Okay, so good morning. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for signing up and joining this presentation. This is a general presentation for Joint Call 6 that we came out on the 1st of September. And we will have kind of questions and answers at the end. But if nonetheless, if you feel like asking a question during a certain slide, you can also use the chat. So I will be passing to the next slide. So this we are approximately thinking they may last an hour. It could last a bit less, a bit more, as you wish. Basic outline for today is to provide information on the 6th ELISA joint call, address questions from participants and gather some feedback, maybe on different aspects that you or processes that you may have doubts about. This is the basic agenda for today, just to make sure you know who we are. So my name is Morris Villaruel. I'm from the UPM. As you know, the UPM is helping to coordinate the ELISA. And I'm also a co-leader of Work Package 8, which might not mean much to you, but the Work Package 8 takes care of the ELISA communities. It's one of the 10 work packages within the project for ELISA. Sophia will be giving introductory address right now. She is the executive director. I will be speaking a bit about communities in general. Some of you may know this. Along with Milan, which is a new thing today, we will have a student talking about student communities briefly. And then we'll go into evaluation criteria by Borte and Ejam from ITU in Istanbul, and they are co-leaders with me of Work Package 8, which I mentioned before. Then we will have 2 slides about funding rules and timeline from Mustafa, who is from ENPC in Paris, and 2 more slides to end it with Sandor, who is from BME and also active in the ELISA local office at the BME related to communities. And then finally, this could take about half an hour, and then we have some questions and answers which we'll try to address. So without further ado, Sophia, if you wouldn't mind taking the floor.
Thank you so much, Maurice, for opening this session. I have to say that I'm always super enthusiastic when I'm here in these info sessions and I see 88 people connected. So thank you for setting time aside for ELISA and to connect with us. I'm Sophia, Executive Director for ELISA European University. So for the ones that maybe are new, always, by the request of the team, give a little of a short introduction about ELISA, if we could go to the next slide. So ELISA is an European university. Our acronym stands for European Engineering, Learning, Innovation and Science Alliance. We have been born, let's say, at the end of 2020 in COVID moments. And we were created by the aims of the European Commission to launch a really ambitious initiative around education and around the capacity of Europe to have some pioneers that would accelerate and contribute actively for transformation at the level of the higher education. So in a way, ELISA, we could say, is gathering 10 institutions around 8 countries, but most of it, we are gathering our forces, our capacities, our enthusiasm, and more particularly with also the impulse of our rectors and vice rectors, we really want to aim to be a driving force in what we could call a social, sustainable, and systemic transformation in Europe by connecting, as I said, our talents. So ELISA, and an important aspect for the ones that do not know, and this acronym, and this has a symbolic importance for ELISA, is inspired in the first woman known to be the first graduated engineer in Europe. So this is important because we also identify that we have relevant work to do together in STEM education, in providing more conditions to a more gender balance, more inclusive education, and to be able to bridge even more the different disciplines and fields, particularly engineering with social sciences, humanities, and the way forward so that we could contribute to a more sustainable society. So in a nutshell, I tried to share with you the intention of ELISA, and connected to this intention, ELISA communities. Then Maurice will go a little bit more in detail. But what I would like to bring to you is that ELISA communities is really at the heart of the value proposal of ELISA. So if there's one thing that we are doing together that translates all of these values that we want to bring together in this capacity of impact, are ELISA communities that are connected and driven by the sustainable development goals that connect people around the common mission, independently on affiliation, independently on the disciplines, and provides opportunities of collaboration, provides a platform for impact to be created. And when I say impact, I really want also to share with you the intention that ELISA communities is really an opportunity for us to have a more systemic approach towards what we could call the area of education, in which we really want to connect education, innovation, research, and reach out to society. So we believe strongly that communities can have this role, and fortunately, the people that are enrolled in ELISA for more time will already know that we already have a lot of examples of these, and you, the different academics and students and staff around it are the ones that push it forward. So if we could go to the next slide. This ecosystem, as we call it, in some presentations that I do in different places, for me is really a living ecosystem in which we connect the activities, the projects, the different people around it, and the different services that ELISA can provide to you. We, central office, the different work packages, the different local offices of ELISA, and you have one focal point at each institution, are here to provide you all the support that you need so that you can use ELISA as a platform to amplify your interests, to amplify your needs of collaboration, and to give even more visibility to the actions that you want to take forward. So ELISA depends completely on you, your energy and capacity to imagine different opportunities for all the different stakeholders. So thank you so much from the heart to that. And we are here, 99 participants gathered around this opportunity of the joint call. And I leave the floor to Maurice that will deepen, and all the colleagues that will go through all the different details about this call. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
To any question if there is.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Sophia. I think it's always good to recall, this inspiring story of ELISA and also the communities. So thank you very much for that. My role here as co-leader of Work Package 8 is a bit more, maybe I'm defining things a bit more, but I think you should know that we've been working for ELISA communities for many years. There is a basic philosophy which was written down in a text which we provide last year. And this is in ELISA 2, we have come up with this kind of definition, no? Joint calls are a way of providing competitive financial support to ELISA communities. So you have to be a community to receive the funding through ELISA activities that lead to credentials. The specific characteristics of the communities can be found on ELISA website. We are now adjusting to a new campus, which we can discuss a bit later in the questions, but this information is still there. And in a wider context of higher institutions, they are compared to interdisciplinary organizations. So one of the key aspects is interdisciplinarity. Cross-disciplinarity and multi-actor academic research teams addressing complex challenges in conjunction with others. So this would be what an IDO is, but communities can be regarded as a novel concept. Apart from this IDO, more than interdisciplinary, it's also less directly related to research and more to innovative teaching methods, which links research, innovation, and challenge-based learning. So these are some key concepts which, just to underline, joint calls have been used to promote this linkage and emphasize the important role of education and training. So in case anybody asks you what an ELISA community is, you can lead them to this definition. Ecosystem ELISA communities, we're now 63. We have even some 2 or 3 new proposals this week. So we may be increasing that number soon. 5 new ones in 2025. We tend to have new communities as well in conjunction with the joint calls. So every time there's a joint call, we get maybe 5 new communities. Going back to this cycle, which Sophia mentioned before, and taking the bare bones, you have to participate in a joint call, you have to be a community with at least 2 partners, but it's better 3, 4 or more. To have an activity, you need at least 3 partners to be able to join the joint call if that's a redundant. So you need to have 3 partners that are working together to make an activity. You provide an activity, we can provide you some guidelines, which leads to a credential. So those are the bare bones, no? So this is a learning ecosystem, which also can feed into research and innovation as well. And some people ask me, well, how are these activities? If we have 12,000 euros, how many students should participate, etc. So for those who are coming today, I would consider an important item, which is the cost per participant. So here I've graphed for the engineers in the audience, the cost per participant of activities in joint call 3, joint call 4, and joint call 5, and the number of participants in the activity. So you see in joint call 4, we had an activity that had 250 participants. This is because I'm including in presence also online mobilities. So this is every participant. And sometimes we have fewer, like fewer than 25. We see there's been a kind of evolution over the joint calls where it's maybe getting a bit more expensive, but the general idea is it's somewhere between 25 participants and 100 is the majority so far. And the cost is varying between 100 euros per student and maybe going up to 400, 300, 350. So this might give you, this has helped me to understand the field where we're kind of leading of what kind of, the first thing you think of me as a professor when giving classes, how many students I have. Well, this would be hybrid students and in-presence students. So we're within those ranges so far. Obviously, if you have more participants, this could be an advantage. And as we're reaching more students within the ELISA community. Here I will give the floor to Milan.
Hello, I'm in wrong profile, but my name is Milan Nevada. I'm doing my master's in mechanical engineering at BME, and also I'm a little student council member, and I'm part of the work package 8, which focuses on ELISA communities. So we have some student communities. Just to mention some examples, BEST, there is the first picture about that. There's a ELISA community for energy transition and international exchange. This is the first ELISA student community. And also, just to mention, there is zero waste. So these are the full student communities. But the joint call gives them a chance to actually grow. With support from the call, they can organize more activities and bring more students in. One of the key requirements of the call is working across countries and even with external partners. We get to team up with students from other universities and also work alongside companies. These projects give us a chance to learn things we don't get to in class, like how to work in international teams, how to organize events, or how to manage budget. It's some practical experiences and call that makes it possible. Activities also supported in the call that can give students formal recognition through ELISA credentials, which is something that we can show later on, maybe in our CVs. And of course, the funding is a big part for the joint call. It lowers the barriers for students to actually join. Maybe that's for about covering traveling costs or helping students run their own initiatives. Without that support, a lot of us simply couldn't take part in these calls. So for students, joint call 6 is a way we can connect internationally and gain new skills. And we also get recognition for that work.
Great. Very great presentation. Okay, very nice, Milan. You're at BME and you're being active also in Work Package 8. Thank you very much for this summary. I will now proceed to the joint call itself and the text. And I would ask Porte and Ejam to mention this slide. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone, and so welcome again. Now I would like to talk about a little bit about the evaluation criteria and some strategic points about joint call 6 evaluation criteria. So regarding the deadline, the communities will apply, they will fill out an application form. And regarding this application form, there are some three main parts. The first part is the activities. So actually the main aim actually for this joint call is to promote the inter-institutional activities within the ELISA communities. So generally, we use of course, in the joint call, the innovative teaching methods, especially addressing the SDGs. Now, again, we will focus on the innovative teaching methods. I will give some examples about this kind of teaching methods and activity types. But in this joint call, firstly, we will have also some special focus on research and innovation. So, mostly we are expecting from you these activities can be designed to prepare the next generation of the researchers and the innovators. And it's really important to focus this important area. So what kind of activities can be done? So they can have different forms like seminars, lectures, summer or some seasonal schools, workshops, hackathons, and other kind of activities can be done. But in this joint call, which is the 6th one, it should be mostly on project-based learning, research-based learning, and of course we had and we still have the challenge-based learning activities. So now we are focusing on more maybe some research activities and entrepreneurship, developing new skills to build some more strong communities and activities. So it can be done with this PBL, RBL, and CBL. And it's really important. These activities should include also the online and the hybrid components. So this will ensure the wide participation across the old alliance. And also it will reduce the barriers to inclusion. At the same time, it will have lowered the ecological footprint of our activities. So we support this. And also it's important to have the dimension balance, like the balance between the number of the educators, students, and also external collaborations. Sometimes the challenges can be given by the companies, public institutions, and the NGOs. This is also can have higher points. So we can again use our student teams for the laboratory activities regarding the research and the research center infrastructure for this call. And lastly, in the last part, I would like to also add about the ELISA credential, and also this part also ELISA credential, which is really important. So these all activities should be also supported by the ELISA credential and the ECTA credits. And also in the next slide, I would like to underline the ELISA strategic roadmap and the strategic research areas. As we said before, this joint call will be focused on more research and innovation proposal and activities. So it would be great if we can focus the strategic research areas explained in the ELISA Alliance web page. So there is also a link We put also some examples, but it's a little bit, crowded and lower resolution. But you can use the links placed in the joint call page and go through our strategic research areas. Mostly they're focusing on the material, energy, and also like connectivity topics. It will be great if you can underline which SRA was selected for your proposal. That's all from my side, Maurice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, just to clarify, we included this slide with all of the strategic research areas, and this is just an example. It's not everybody has to do this one connectivity. It's just to include some examples. Yes, Sejam.
Yes, thank you, Maurice. Hi, this is Ajam from ITU, and I will briefly talk about the remaining of the evaluation part. For this evaluation, 30 points are dedicated to excellence and impact, which means your proposal should clearly show how the activity contributes to the innovative learning ecosystem. And that includes how the activity links to the mission of your community, its interdisciplinarity, and so on. And it is ideal for us if you can show its connections to the SDGs and its potentials for the long-term impact on connection in innovation and research. And finally, 20 points are dedicated to the implementation. This is about the how part of your activity. So how this activity will take place, when it will take place. So we want you to provide us a clear plan of execution and so on. And this part also includes the budget as well, which is kept at 12,000 euros per proposal, which we know it's a bit lower compared to the previous one, but with this way, the 6th joint goal will provide more support to more activities, so which is a good thing. Finally, I just want to emphasize once again that your activities must be open to all students from all ELISA partners. This is important. And it must include a hybrid or online formats because we want to maximize the participation number while we are trying to minimize our ecological footprint. I think that's all from my part, and the next part is for Mustafa.
Very good. Thank you, Ejam. Mustafa.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. As Maurice kindly presented in the beginning, my name is Mustafa Sevimli, and I am the ELISA project manager at École des Ponts, Paris. And I am also a part of the Joint Call Organization Committee. Today here, I am here to present to you the budget and the funding rules. In the framework of the 6th joint call, we do have a budget of 150,000 euros. This is our total budget to be distributed among all the joint call activities and propositions to the selected ones. To organize your activity, you do have a maximum funding of 12,000 euros. Let me allow to precise that this is a maximum funding. If you think it is possible to organize you below this amount, you can also do that. So with a quick math, we can say that in this joint call, there will be 12 or maybe 13 joint call activity, which will be funded. When it comes to how you're gonna use this 12,000 euros and which expenses you can cover with it, this can of course cover the expenses of the travel and accommodation of the co-organizer, meaning that if you organize, you have to organize your activity with two other institutions from ELISA. So to come to the home organization, you can use this money to cover the expenses of other co-organizer. You can cover the expenses of the attendees, meaning that students or the learners who participate to this activity. And also you can cover what we call other costs if you want to organize some buffet for some catering or for the dissemination costs, etc. So in the application form, you have a detailed budget items to place, distribute this 12,000 euros. You can find all the information, necessary information there. So for the next slide, you will see a timeline of the joint calls. Actually, we are in the 6th joint call. So as you can see from our timeline also, joint calls are proposed in semi-annual basis. So there will be a joint call generally in the first week of the September and the first week of the February until the 2027, which will be the end of the ELISA phase 2.
Okay, that's it. Okay, very good. I don't. Sandor is next from BME about the application itself.
Hi everyone, my name is Sándor Kis from BME, and I would like to tell you a few words about the most important days first. So now the most important deadline is the submission deadline. This is the 15th of October night, and then you will get the result in approximately 2 weeks, around the 31st of October. And after that, you have to organize your activity after 1st of January, because you need a little time to prepare your activity and inform the potential students and the participants. But your activity must take place not later than 1st of September of 2026. And let me tell you a few words about the implementation. So when you write your proposal, try to be as clear and as realistic as you can. For example, when you are planning your budget, try to estimate carefully your costs and as much as you can. And as Mustafa mentioned, please do not exceed 12,000 euro, because this is the limit. So, and as I mentioned, so the earliest activity, you have to start your activity at later than the 1st of January. And now after your activity, you have to submit a final report, and within 6 weeks after the conclusion of your activity. And you have 1 year, so up to 1st of September of 2026, you have to organize your and do your activity.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Sandor. And now we go into, well, perfect, 1 o'clock. We've been half an hour, so we kept to our time. For the questions and answer period, I will have one more slide after this, but I open it up for people who have questions. They raise their hand option. You can ask it. You can post your question in the chat, or if you don't like that, you can write to communities@elisa.eu. We will provide, I mean, most of what the links we provided are already on the Joint Call 6 webpage, but we can provide access to this PowerPoint as well. And finally, and almost most importantly, are these contact points. So ELISA works in kind of like a hub and spoke organization where we have a central office, but we also have local offices. So these are the names of the people who run the communities at the different local offices. So Franco Joanna from FAU, Borte and Ejam, this is their emails from ITU. So this is an important slide, and we should make it available to you. This really recorded this session and sent on YouTube as well. But if you have problems finding this information, just write to your locally or write to me directly, and I can send it to you. And with that, thank you very much, and we can go to questions. So this is the end from me, and I guess I can open the floor. I can stop sharing and see if anybody is brave enough to
There's a question
answer
online,
the first
Maurice.
question. Oh, okay.
So the question online is, what is an approximate length for an activity? And can we see the activities organized in previous calls to have a clear idea? This is a call online.
Mm-hmm.
And another question, can we get cost templates from past events so that we can build a realistic cost structure?
That's a good idea. Yeah. So if I can try to answer, if anybody else wants to answer from Work Package 8, they are invited to, but the approximate length. For me, it's kind of how long is a piece of wood, no? So it could last several weeks or months in the sense that there could be a buildup. So I can have an activity which I include in my class that lasts 4 months, and then I can have my students with other students and other faculties in schools do a similar thing. And then we meet at one point at the end of the semester. So this kind of depends on what you want to do, or it could be a day and a half or 2 days, like a hackathon or something. So I don't know if I can give you an exact that we're looking for exactly. It is true that Erasmus Plus funding does fund short-term mobility more than the typical Erasmus funding. So it could be more of a matter of days for the actual in-person event. But the online section could last longer, and there could be input from different people over weeks or months, no? Can we see activity organized in previous calls? Yes, we are adjusting to a new web page. So if you join a community, you should be able to see previous activities of that community, and it gives you an idea. And a lot of these communities have activities that were from previous calls, but we can try to set up a list, maybe to put on the web page of previous activities. Well, there is actually, Danielle is not here today, who was helping a lot from the office with these communities, but there is a list of, I think, for joint call 3 and 4, a table of the results of the joint call, and there should be links to the activities on that in that table. But anyway, we can organize that to make it more clear. Cost template, there is a template in the application form, but I imagine Ezhan is talking about, what kind of cost structure do we think should happen? I think I don't want to maybe step on anybody's toes, but I think we have 12,000. Within Work Package 8, we're thinking that at least half, probably 6,000, would be spent more for movement of participants. So we're talking about students coming to the event, things that has to do with mobility. Of the other remaining 6,000, there's a maximum of 1,000 for external speakers. That leaves you 5,000 if you want, and then you can move professors, which would be a couple thousand, and then you need maybe to feed people, etc. So I see it kind of that way. I don't know other people. We're not looking, for example, to spend of the 12,000 to spend 10,000 on a scholarship for one person so they can organize the event, and then only have 2,000 for people to travel into the event. We're looking to have more participants as possible. That's why I showed you that graph. And then obviously there will be some need for infrastructure and material, etc., to do it. But we want communities to work here on mobility and experiences of the students. But we can also write that down to have more of a realistic structure. Could you specify the budget allocation? If 3 universities collaborate, should the participants come from these 3 universities? Yes, this I think was mentioned by Mustafa. Can I give it to you and I stop talking for a second?
Sure, with pleasure. Yeah, maybe I should be more specific on that. So the implication of the 3 institution is a prerequisite to apply for a joint call, right? So in order to apply for a joint call, you have to work with 2 other ELISA institutions, maybe with the PSL, EMPC, or FAU. So when you are working with this institution, you have to have some organizer who came to your activity physically or in a hybrid format to help you to organize this activity, right? So we are talking about here is an active participation, not just some names or name of the institution in the joint call application. Because we will have a feedback afterwards to your application to see if everything goes well in line with our ELISA objectives and the prerequisites to what we attend from this activity. But if you want, you can also call for an external participation to your activity if you think this is necessary. And also you can allocate some funding up to 10% of your total funding, meaning that 1,200 euros to cover the expenses of, I don't know, travel and accommodation of the external person from ELISA.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, Mustafa, thank you very much. In this case, I think it was also said by Ejam and Borte, if you organize an activity with 3 universities, the participants should be from all universities. It should be open to all ELISA universities. So let's
Yes.
say I organize an activity, I have a community with Scuola Normale, UPM in Madrid, and ITU in Istanbul. I organize an activity at the UPM. I have an application process. So I open this activity on the webpage, and anybody can apply from within the ELISA Alliance. So students who work with Mustafa, ENPC, can apply, and they should be given equal opportunity to apply. This is
Yeah.
important. Sorry.
Sorry, Mustafa. Sorry, Maurice. I would like to add also something about proposal and activity part of the proposal. It would be also great if the the designers can write the evaluation criteria about selecting the participant from the all open applicants through an activity, for example, how they will list them and select some of them. It should be also clear before the activity.
Yes, exactly. I think, Borte, you're referring to line 8 on the last paragraph of the activity design.
Yes.
Applicants should provide guidelines regarding the acceptance criteria for participants. This will be required for reporting purposes and should the proposal be accepted. Basically, just so you understand, we have 10 partners in ELISA. Each partner provides, I don't know how to say it correctly, provides some money for these joint calls, and it's the same for each partner. So we are giving, all the partners contribute the same, and they should be given equal opportunity to also participate in the same way. I don't know. Sophia?
Thank you. I think you all grasp the idea. Just to emphasize, the joint call is joint. So it's a common effort. So it also aims to be inclusive and give opportunities all around the partner institutions, particularly for the participation of students. So this is really important. And we have our back office mechanisms to do so that each local office can support the mobility of the students and the academics involved in the activities.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. Nagehan, if I'm pronouncing that, says, first of all, thank you for the presentation. You're welcome. Can we still apply only with the idea of a project, or do we have some kind of prototype, something already existing? This is kind of open to your imagination. How would you feel? I mean, it's important in this call that we are giving a bit more preference to research and innovation, which we discussed before, but I don't think we're saying everything has to be already built. I think there's a basis of education, so we're doing an activity that's to educate young minds, or maybe even not so young minds, and I leave that a bit open. I don't think we have a specific idea, for example, for an innovation activity, that it has to be in a certain way. You can use money to buy software, to buy maybe specific material that you need, like a 3D printer or some material to use that. I don't know. But I think, I don't know if I answered that, but it doesn't have to be the prototype already existing, I don't think. Must have included that. Given the move to hybrid online events, will a face-to-face activity be mandatory? Oh, that's a good question. I just want to say in there, the line in the last paragraph of the activity description says, activities must include components that are online or hybrid. So we are mostly thinking about a experience that will be in presence. And there's maybe not the whole thing because it might be difficult, but part of the thing in presence should be having an opponent that's online, or the build up to, for example, there have been joint calls that say, okay, I'm going to take 50 people, I'm going to teach them over 2 months how to do this. And maybe the winners of this 50 people, 10 people, 12 people will meet together. So I'm going to have kind of like a competition for 50 people. Some people drop out, some people don't like it. And then you end up with maybe 10 people, and then you invite those to an in-presence event. There could be an option of maybe making it completely hybrid, which I don't see that's necessarily a problem, and you would spend less money on participation. But it's the first time I see this question, so I'm not sure it's mandatory to make the students. Okay. If our activity gets selected, is our participation confirmed, or do we have to apply like a student once again? So I imagine this is coming from a student. So if you're a student applying for this, you are more of an organizer, and this is separate the cost from the participants. So, I mean, your participation will be confirmed as an organizer because you won it. In any case, this is a bit early to talk about the specifics, but once you are informed at the end of October that your activity has been selected, there will be an info session for that group of people where we will describe in more detail how things work, economically, how the reporting will work, etc. And so we will guide you with that. Carlos, hello. Will it be possible to have a clear evaluation criteria of the proposals, additionally to have the points of each section? Maybe through a rubric, this will be helpful to prepare the proposal. Yes, we do have like a rubric within the work package 8. We will be sitting down and when evaluating this at the end of October, where we kind of ask questions to ourselves. We technically in the past, we have not made that public. We can discuss if we want to do that. I would suggest contact your local ELO and they can provide you with more details. But also the questions we will be asking ourselves and the rubric is basically reflected in the call itself. So if you follow the call like aims to align strategic research, we have provided more questions in the application form itself. If you look at the application form, I think there are specific questions. So I would suggest if we ask you the question, make a subapartado, how do you say, make a subsection in your thing of that question. So if I say, you're studying SDGs, okay, how we approach SDGs. You're making a balanced approach to students. We will offer this to all ELISA universities, and we will make sure as much as possible that we respect gender balance and balance between the applicants of not everybody is from PSL, for example. So I would suggest buying that, but we can do, I can't give you the answer today, but might discuss this in Work Package 8. But if you want more feedback, please contact your local office. How can we find communities or teams to apply? Good question. Okay, so now we have a digital campus, which is different from the community platform we had on the first web page. So on the digital campus, and now I can show you my screen again. And this is maybe getting into, how we say, a friend of mine says, getting into the weeds, no, getting into the more, this is the digital campus. So you should go here and look at the ELISA communities. If you are an ELISA community and are not here, I would suggest, and you don't know how to do it, there is a guidebook. I would suggest getting in touch with the ECO or with your ELISA local office to find out how your community can appear here. There are quite a few already. So you just look here and you join. To do that, you have to sign in and get a profile and you sign in using your local credentials from your university. Okay, so I suggest you go to digitalcampus.elisa.eu and start searching there. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I'm not even sharing my screen. Oh, I am sharing my screen. Okay. Sorry. I hope that's okay as an answer. Eda, okay, thanks for the answers to my previous question, but some clarification. I'm asking it because universities can pay their own faculty and students. How about other participants, all from ELISA universities? Could you pay an ITU student if ITU is not among the organizers of an activity? I don't know if I understand the
If I may,
question.
I think I understood the question. The answer is yes. If the organizers are FAU and UPM, for example, and PSL, ITU, the part of that budget will be covered by ITU local office for the ITU students. So you can enroll in the activity students from other universities that are not part of the organizing team.
Yes.
So one thing is the institutions organizing, another thing is the candidates, the applicants of your activity, okay?
Yes, I think along those lines, I don't know, Sophia, if you agree, I could organize an activity and I have 10 students coming, but I may have an email from FAU and they say, we want to send 8 students to your activity and we can pay for them. They should apply, they should go through the registration process again, and maybe only there's room for 3, but different institutions can pay for their students and that's not a problem. This would be in addition to the 12,000 euros that you asked for. This is happening more and more often. So actually 12,000 euros provides you with a basis of participation, but more and more universities are sending their students with, let's say, their own money or other funds that they have locally. Must the location of activity be one of the 3 participating universities, or can it be any ELISA university? This is sometimes a problem for economically. So if I ask for the activity as the main leader of the activity, and I have my co-leaders at the UPM, then the money for catering or whatever, it's easier, much easier, if the person who asked for the activity, the main person, is actually then receiving the money. Because if I have UPM, UPB from Bucharest, and BME, and I do it in Istanbul, somehow it's more complex how to go about distributing the money because ITU wasn't an organizer. So for me, it gets a bit more complicated there. I would tend to think that the location should be in one of the participating universities. Could there be exceptions? Well, you have the opportunity to explain it. One of the activities that we got, whether we proposed in the Joint Call 5, was actually involving a train, a trip on a train. So it wasn't really anywhere. There's the idea is that there will be eventually how would I say, a show of different products from the activity related to traveling. So this could be a bit different. Could you elucidate the difference between communities and activities? Does one in a joint call propose the creation of a new ELISA activity? I'm getting lost. Propose the creation of a new ELISA community which will carry out a specific, or does one first join an existing community? Okay, well, for me, it's first is the community. You have to have a community. So you can either join a community. So let's say I'm interested in air transport. Well, we have a community with air transport, which has a leader and a co-leader. So I can apply to join. That air transport community should be informed that you want to do an activity, but they don't necessarily have to give you permission per se, but the idea is that you join that community and you talk to them and you use them to make to organize your activity. with the partners that that community already has. So does one, essentially you have to do the community first. And then that community has to decide to do an activity. As you mentioned, more and more universities funding their students. Then how do we estimate or put in the call so that we allocate budget for travel according to, well, I see this. I mean, maybe my other colleagues from Work Package 8 can help. They also evaluate, but I see this. I want to organize, Morris wants to organize an activity. I would like these participants as the core part of my activity. And I have guaranteed with the participation that for 6,000 euros or whatever, or 8,000, I'm guaranteeing the participation of 10 or 12 students. This can also be opened to more students, and then you have to think of a maximum. My installations maybe can have 25 or 30, or if I include online, 200, I don't know. So this is a part that's difficult to do, and we don't have any clear, because we don't know how popular your activity will be, who will show up for it. So I don't have a super clear guidelines on that, but I would think it more, this is what the basic number of students that I need to have to do the activity properly. And then you can always add on top of that. If that makes sense, feel free to ask more questions. I'm talking a lot, but we've had some participation also from other people, and you can even raise your hand or speak something if you like. Okay, so it's been about an hour. I think we're just on time. We've had a number of questions. These questions I will save, and I will put them in a frequently asked questions, which will go underneath the web page for the joint call. So where you found the information for the joint call 6, underneath we will put frequently asked questions. And if you all agree, we will put some of these or all of these. And when I said for different questions, I wasn't sure we had to discuss, I think we can fill those in as we progress. But maybe some final words. In the past, we have received between 20 and 25 applications for each call. So if we look at joint call 3, 4, and 5, which were in ELISA 2, we have received anywhere from 17 to 25 applications per call. And of those, we give between 9 in the last joint call and 12 or 13. So more or less, you have a 50-50% chance of making it, which I think is pretty high compared to European Commission Horizon 2020 standards. So I would suggest that you do it, even if maybe it's not quite perfect. You will learn from our feedback, and you can also apply in February. So I think it would be useful to do. On a personal note, we in Work Package 8 are working hard with the new communities to see the communities, to help them, to the student communities as well. And we meet once a week. And during those meetings on Friday, once a week, we approve the new community proposals. So this, just to give you an idea, we approve them on Friday. If you're thinking of a new community, probably before Friday is better. And in essence, a lot of the communities are great ideas suggested. The only thing we look if there's a lot of overlap with other communities, but we try our best. We're not always completely on time, but to reply to you. And there is a system to do this in the digital campus itself to apply to new communities. And if you, again, you need help with this, please talk to your local offices and they can help with this as well. Okay, I don't know, Sophia, if you want some closing words or anybody else.
Just to thank you, everyone, because it was an hour and we still have 68 attendants. So thank you so much and good luck for the preparation.
Yeah, we lasted a long time. I see one more question. Somebody left at the end. Can the budget be used to pay the salary organizers? Yes, but there have been in the past, for example, we used 1,000, 2,000 euros to pay like a small scholarship fee to a student who helps to organize the activity. We don't like to, let's say, abuse this a part of the budget, so it shouldn't be 8,000. Because that's not the sense of this. If you look at the reason for having communities join calls, it's not necessary to pay somebody to organize things. So it is a bit of free time. But hopefully with other partners, you can make that time even less, although it doesn't always work out that way. And so I would shy away from making that a huge amount, but this is possible too, and I think it's part of the budget table for, okay. Okay, well, I'm very happy so many people showed up, and we will be in touch, and have a nice weekend. Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.